Hello, this is Yo-Yo. Now we're going to talk about graphs of linear equations. So, first things, what does linear equation look like? A linear equation is going to look like a straight line, either increasing or decreasing. Is there any other cases? Also, they could be a horizontal line parallel to x-axis or a vertical line parallel to y-axis. If a horizontal line parallel to x-axis, this line, let's say, this is the point B, so this line should be fx equals to B. So this is going to be our horizontal line. So that means no matter x equals to what, like x equals to 1, y equals to b. X equals to 2, y equals to b. X equals to 0, y still equals to b. X equals to -1, y equals to b. X equals to 10, y still equals to b. It's a constant. So what about the vertical one? The vertical one, let's say this is point A. So a vertical line is in the form of x equals to a. So that means when y equals to -1, 2, 4, 100, x always equals to a. So these are the vertical line and the horizontal line. So now the most common thing is an increasing or decreasing line, right? A line like this, either increasing or decreasing. So if given you a function, how do you plot the graph? So such as I'm giving you a function fx equals to -2/3 x plus 5. So we know that this is a linear function because it's in the form of mx plus b, right? Where m is equals to -3/3 and b equals to 5. So there's two ways to do it. Either you can make a table to find 2 points and connect these 2 points together. So now let's do this. If I found 2 points, so let's say make a t-table. So if x equals to 0, fx equals to -2/3 times 0 plus 5. So this is equals to 5. So I have first order pair 0, 5. And then the second one, you can pick anything about x. You can pick 3, you can pick 13, you can pick 213. That's okay. But usually, in order to make it easier to calculate, you will try to pick some number that easier, such as 1. Usually 1 is really easy to calculate because everything times 1 equals 1. But here's the tips. Since this is a fraction, I know that we don't like fractions. So we need to think about, is there any number that I can multiply to get rid of the fraction? Such as, I want to get rid of the denominator. How do you do that? You multiply the denominator, which is 3. So in this specific case, I want to pick 3 as my x-coordinate. So I have 2/3 times 3 plus 5, which is -2, because I get rid of the denominator, so I get a whole number. I have a -2 plus 5, which is 3. So 3, 3. Now I have 2 points. So the graph is going to be should be higher. Okay. Okay, now we need to find 2 points. The first one is 0, 5, which is here. The second one is 3, 3, which is 3, 3 here. We located these 2 points on the coordinate plane. Okay, and then we connect these two together. So here's your graph. The second way to do it is use the slope and the intercept. Okay, we know that the slope is -2/3. So how do you interpret the slope? The slope is what? Rise over run, right? And we know that the y-intercept is 5. So now let's do another coordinate plane. Oops, it's fine. Okay, first we know that y-intercept is 5, right? So we have 5. So now we use the slope rise and run. You can either do -2 into the rise or -3 as the run. You can put the negative side either one. So I like to put it maybe on the top. So I will consider I rise -2. So that means I goes down -2, which is in here. And after it goes down -2, and then run 3. Runs means goes to the, if it's a positive number, it goes to the right. If it's a negative number, it goes to the left. So run 3. 1, 2, 3 in here. So here's the 2 point. I connect these 2 points together. So that gives you another linear equation. These two is going to be the same. No matter which way you choose, they both work. Okay, so the next part is the interception. Because sometimes you can have multiple graph on multiple linear equation graph on one coordinate plane, and then they will have a interception. Such as I have an example, h of t equals to 3t minus 4, and then jt equals to 5 minus t. And then how do we find the interception? So let me show you a graph. So this website is really helpful. It's called Desmo.com. It's a graphic calculator. You can find it through the course information. Okay. So when we type in the function that we need, which is the first one is h of t equals to 3t minus 4, we got a red line. And now let's look at another line that we have, which is j, another graph, name it j, equals to 5 minus t. So it's going to be the blue line. If you look at here, you will find out, hey, there is a intersection between these two lines. So we are trying to find this intersection point. So in Desmo, if you point it here, they will show you the coordinate of the intersection point. But what does that mean? How do we find it if we can't use Desmo? Well, here's the way I'm going to teach you. So by the graph you just look at, you will notice that, hey, the two graphs are intercept, right? The coordinate plane look like something like this. Let me use red and blue, so like we did. And blue is something like this one. Not the best graph again, but you get the idea. Okay, So the intercept point, this is the intersection. How do we find the intersection if you can use the graphing calculator? Well, so the intercept point, they are on the red line and also on the blue line, right? So that means this point has to be exact on both lines. That means when we solve one equation onto the other equation, then we will find the intersection point. So here's what we are going to do. We can substitute, by solving t to find out the intersection point. Okay. Since they are the same, so that means in this case, this point is t and the jt. This point also is t and h of t, since they're the same point on the same line, on different line. So in this case, ht and the jt, they are the same. So that means ht is going to equal to jt at this point. So ht equals what? 3t minus 4, and jt equals to 5 minus t. And now we solve for t. We add t on both sides. We have 4t, and these get over it. Got cancelled, not get over. And then we add 4 on both sides. So we have 4t equals to 9. So t is equal to 9/4. Okay, after we find t, you can either substitute into h or into j to find out what is the y-coordinate of the intersection point. No matter what, they should be the same. No matter which equation that you plug in, you should get to the same answer. So now let's plug in the JT1. So J 9/4, I have 5 minus 9/4. So when you calculate that, you will have 11/4. So the y-coordinate should be 11/4. So that means this intersection point is going to be 9/4 and 11/4. Well, if you don't believe if you get this right or wrong, the one thing you can do is you can check it. By what? How do you check it? Well, you substitute t equals to 9/4 into jt function. How about we check it by substitute this into the other function, which is ht. So I have h of 9/4 equals to 3 times 9/4 minus 4. And then I got 27/4 minus 4. And then we find the same denominator. I have 16/4. So I got, wow, 11/4. So that means, yes, this is the output. The y-coordinate is 11/4. So we got the intersection point, 9/4. So the last part I want to talk about in this class is the parallel line and the perpendicular line. Let's talk about parallel line first. So let me show you a graph. So now this graph, they have intersection, right? What is a parallel line? That means they don't have any intersection. Now let's take a look. If I change this to 3, positive 3, look, the blue line and the red line, they're parallel to each other. Parallel means they don't have intersection. No matter how you zoom in, there's no intersection at all. So this means parallel. So what's special about parallel line? Let me give you another example, such as kt equals to 3t minus 10. The green line, also parallel, right? So what determinant is parallel? Do you find some pattern here? I am going to write down the formula that we got. We have the first one is ht equals to 3t minus 4, and the jt equals to 5 minus plus 3t, and then the last one is kt equals to 3t minus 10. These three different lines, they're parallel to each other. What do they have in common? Right, the slope are the same. That means when the slope m1 equals to m2 equals to m3, the lines are parallel. The slope are all what? Positive 3. We don't care about the y-intercept. The y-intercept is going to not affect it how parallel the line it is, but only the slope. If the slope are the same, then you will have two parallel lines. Okay, a second one I want to show you is perpendicular. So what is a perpendicular line? That means the graph on these two linear equations, they're perpendicular to each other. That means they form a 90 degree. Okay, let's take a look. Let's use the same one, and I just need to change the slope into negative 1/3. So look at these two lines. Look at them. They're perpendicular now. So what did I change? Again, I just changed the slope. I don't need to do anything about the y-intercept. So when I change the slope, you will get the perpendicular line. So what did I change the slope? So the slope from ht, I have 3t minus 4, and then jt, now I change to negative 1/3 t plus 5. Again, I didn't change the intercept. The intercept remained the same. So what's special about this slope? If the product of the slope equals to negative 1, that means they're perpendicular. Please try it by yourself on Desmo.com. So look, the slope on here, let me use a different color one, is 3, and this is negative 1/3. When they multiply together, 3 times negative 1/3 is equal to negative 1. So they're perpendicular to each other. So let me give you another example, such as fx equals to negative 2/3 x minus 10, and then kx equals to 3/2 x plus 8. Are these two perpendicular without drawing the graph? Do you know? Yes, they are. Why is that? Because the slope, when they multiply, their product equals to negative 1. Because negative 2/3 times 3/2 equals to what? You cross cancel, you will get negative 1. Then we know that fx and k of x are perpendicular. So here's an example about perpendicular or parallel line. So a line passing through the point negative 2, 6, and 4, 5. Find the equation of a perpendicular line that passes through the point 4 and 5. So how many lines in here? We have two lines. One is the black one that they're passing through negative 2, 4, 5. What's the second line? The second one, I will use the red one, the perpendicular line that passes through the point 4, 5. So how they want you to find this red line, right? The second line, the second equation. So we know that this is linear equation. We have mx plus b. So if you want to find the linear equation, that means you just need to identify where is the m, where is the b, then you're done. So they give you a point. That's not enough information. You need to know either the slope or the intersection. Otherwise, giving you a point is not enough information. However, in here, they tells you that, hey, this is perpendicular to the black line, the first line. So that means, okay, I may be able to find out the slope. Once I find out the slope, all I need to do is just plug in the point. I will be able to find the red line's y-intercept, b. So in order to find the slope of this red line, it's perpendicular to the black line, right? The black graph. So that means I need to know the slope of the black graph first. So this is the process, how you calculate, how you do the steps. Okay, so from the first line, I have 2 points. With 2 points, okay, we're good. With 2 points, we know that the slope is equals to what? The changing in y over the changing in x. So the changing in y is 6 minus 5 over negative 2 minus 4. So I have 1 over negative 6. So that's the slope of the first line. So do I need to find the equation of the first line? No, we don't need to, because all we need to know is the slope. Because what matters is slope. Because with the slope of the first line, we'll be able to find the slope of second line. So now, since they're perpendicular, we know that, hey, the first slope times the second slope. Let me use a and b. That should equals to -1, right? So the first slope is equal to -1/6. The second slope, I don't know yet. Still m2. That's something that we're trying to find out. It's equal to -1. Now we try to solve for m2, which is the slope of the second line, the second equation. So you times -6 on both sides to get rid of 1/6. So I have m2. Let me use a red pen, since I've been using the red pen for the second slope. So m2 equals to 6. Now we have the slope. So we know that the second equation, the function look like y equals to 6x plus b. And then we also know the point. We can substitute x and y into the equation to find out the y-intercept. So y equals to 5, x equals to what? 4 plus b. So I have a 5 equals to 24 plus b. And then I subtract 24 on both sides. I got -19 equals to b. So the second equation is going to be y equals to 6x minus 19. That's it. This is going to be similar for parallel. If this is become parallel, what you need to change? If they say, hey, this second line is a parallel line and passing through the point. So that means perpendicular means the product of these two slopes equals to -1. But if they're parallel, that means m1 is equals to m2. Easy. So that's it for today's video. Let me know if you have other questions. See you next time.